The end goal is obviously to produce a movement in the UK, and we're nearly at the end of the drawing side, the plan side, and it's totally unique, which is very exciting. I think in this country we're still a chunk of a way off from anyone being able to do that in its entirety, especially for any volume. It's one thing prototyping a number of movements, because you can make bits fit and work, but if you're producing any numbers, you have to produce things in a very, very different way.
Our vision has really been a sort of three-stage vision, and that was day one, bring all the watch assembly over to the UK. Stage two was starting to machine metal in the UK. Stage three for us is how we can do more movement components and our own British movement. We're at the stage now where manufacturing cases, case components, so things like seals and that sort of stuff, anything metal, and some base movement components.
One of the watches we're quite proud of is the MB watch, which stands for Martin Baker. Martin Baker is obviously this company which supply 70–80% of the world's fighter ejection seats. They've saved 7,500 lives to date, and their seats don't fail.
Martin Baker was an amazing story for us, really. To be approached by the Martin Baker family to say, look, we want to do a watch for our ejectees, but we don't want just a logo on the dial. And we thought, oh, that's fine. Ejection test, that's fine. It's only 20 G or something, it'll survive. But what we didn't realize, it wasn't that. It was the vibration test, it was the temperature test, the salt flock test, all these different elements.
So we went through a whole load of testing with them, and we ended up producing a watch which did have some interesting technology inside it. We were finding that to go through the vibration, the shock testing, movements are designed to be robust, but things do come undone if you're not careful with shock and vibration. And we designed this special movement mount which sits inside the case, so the movement is actually suspended. And it sounds quite easy, but if it's too spongy in there, the movement moves around and the hands come off, and if it's too hard, it doesn't do its job. So we worked with that, and it's become something we're very proud of. Every single watch we do has this sort of three-piece case. Instead of having lugs which sort of just join the case and stick out, we wanted these lugs which could literally just sort of melt over the side. To do that, we had to use three different pieces. This ring here is actually detachable, and then you've got the steel top bezel, and then of course you have the case back.
So what we're doing here on case manufacturing is we're doing processes not often seen in Switzerland. Often when you're building cases, you stamp the metal out of a single steel plate, and quite an accurate stamp. Because we don't have legacy equipment here, we realized that it'd be more efficient for us to machine directly from bar. So in here we'll have the solid steel bar. We'll machine that from that single bar. It'll also drill all the holes, everything in there. And one of the big stepping stones to be able to manufacture in the UK, to do in volumes, different if we're doing 10 or 100 cases, but doing them in the thousands, is the finishing process. We invest a lot in CNC finishing machines that deburr. And it's about a 5-stage process between our hand finishing. It goes backwards and forwards, but by having that, it meant we could cost effectively do it in the UK.
British engineering is quite important for us. We are trying to do as much as we can over here. Cases, some of the movement parts, bridges and main planes, we've dabbled in that, which is great. And that's a sort of a trial towards the end goal, which is hopefully in the years to come. But you've got to be sensible. There's a commercial reality to the whole thing. You have to get to a certain number to put the investment in to do the next stage. So what Giles and I will do is say, here's the next stage we want to get to. And it might be to invest in a certain bit of machinery. That's going to cost X, but to get there we have to have X amount of cash flow coming in from watch sales. And so it's just being sensible. We don't have any goal to sell 500,000 watches or 300,000 or 100,000. There's no sort of goal like that. It's about sustaining yourself commercially and being sensible about it.
The challenge of a watch company is you're machining and you're building something that people won't buy unless they know about it, they read about it, they hear it, they have a relationship. And we had to do that in a market where everyone said, oh, well, it should be Swiss made. I mean, for us to bring it to the UK, we could have kept being Swiss, but that wasn't what we were about. And that was a big challenge. You're going against what everyone perceives as being luxury watchmaking, which is Swiss.
There is this lovely history of British watchmaking. You know, the world sets its time by Greenwich. it doesn't set it by Geneva. And that was because we had this history. And there's some great innovation. You take a mechanical watch, 60-70% of the innovation in the mechanical watch came from British shores. Obviously the Swiss have mastered the mass manufactured watch game, and we've got a long, long way to go before we can get there in terms of numbers. But we're lucky we have a really passionate bunch of people who share the same values and enjoy what we're doing as well. You couldn't ask for more, really.